Video journal entry 47, November 23rd, 2025. Well, I posted my camping video. Literally, I was like, oh my gosh, who am I? Because it's been a while since I've filmed a video and then edited it and posted it within the week. That was some throwback Nick type of stuff. Back in, I feel like maybe 2-3 years ago when I was editing videos more often and was first started posting, I was editing so much. I was spending hours editing a week. I was editing multiple videos for my different channels and things like that. I've lost that Vim, but I feel like, is that Vim coming back? Because that was a longer video too, and I was like, wow, who am I? And then I did a little guitar part for it too. Oh, that's not old Nick, that's new Nick. I wanted to do I guess that is part old Nick too, but I wanted to do I want to write a music part for it real fast, or play a music part for it real fast, and then I did it, and I was like, oh my gosh, yay! And I feel like I've talked about it in a video journal entry before about wanting to add more of my music and things like that to the things that I do. It can be stressful, finding the right songs and then making sure the sound isn't copyright, etc., etc. And I was like, man, it'd be so nice if I just had my own music too that I can add, that I make myself. I feel like it'll take longer to make music myself, but maybe as I make songs and things like that, and the production process would be a bit faster. But yeah, I got that video done and posted, which I was happy about. I'm tired. It took so long to get that video done. I actually finished the video yesterday. I wanted to post, I finished the video last night, and I wanted to actually post it last night, but I fell asleep. I'll talk about that in a second. But then on top of that, it kept failing to export. I fell asleep and I woke up this morning and it hadn't exported, or it exported. I don't know if you ever use Logic, or not Logic, but Final Cut Pro, where something will export, but it won't process the whole video. It'll get stuck at one point and it'll just stay stuck the whole time. At first that happened, and then I kept getting a rendering error. It kept saying export failed because of rendering. So I made a new project. Then I made a new event. Then I had to make a whole new library, and finally it saved. And each attempt to save it takes so much time, but alas, it was posted. But speaking of falling asleep, I've been going to sleep so early. I've been falling asleep early and going to sleep fast. I just be knocked out. I just wake up and I'm dang, I fell asleep. But I've also been waking up too early, so I'm not able to utilize the fact that I'm up, because I'm tired. I'm the type of person if I don't get a good sleep, if I don't get into a good deep sleep, then I can't function well throughout the day. Even if I half fall asleep again, if I don't reach that peak sleep state and get that peak rest, I'm and I feel in general I'm already, I think, a bit more tired these days. But alas, something I've been thinking about this week as a result of camping is darkness. When I talked about that in part of the videos, but when you're out there, you really see the thickness of darkness. You really see how heavy darkness can be. Being from the city, it's light out. Even when it's night out, it's light out. So it's never really super dark. But being out there and towards the woods, it's it gets dark. It gets thick. The darkness is so thick that you have to have really good light to penetrate it. It's even with good light, you can't really penetrate it. It's thick, it's heavy, it weighs on you. It made me think about how that's really a similar comparison to darkness when we think about mental health. When you're in a dark space mental health wise, it feels thick, it feels heavy. You feel you really cannot escape it, and I don't know, I don't know if there's any real lesson to that. Maybe, I guess, if it's dark, start a fire. With that being said, start a fire within yourself, find things to light you up again. And with that being said, starting a fire in real life is not easy as it looks. So it'll take time. Or another lesson is or you wait it out till light comes, and know that light can come unless you bog yourself into a cave where you can only be surrounded by darkness, etc. But I always think about that a lot. I was man, and just that weight, that feeling of darkness is just something. And I just thought it was interesting because there are so many parallels within nature, because within us and within nature, we are nature, we're part of life, we're part of earth. But it's interesting to identify those different things. This Sunday will be my last Sunday scary for at least the next 6 months because I'm gonna be going part-time. So I don't gotta go in on Monday and Friday. So I'll see how this 3-day a week schedule feels. It's gonna suck not having this much money in the paycheck, but I feel like it'll be worth it in the long run. Worth it for time, worth it for like my health and like my mental headspace. I think it'll be worth it. Something I think about is like burnout like sucks when you don't feel like you deserve to be burnt out. Like when you feel like you've been going light, like you haven't been going hard enough, like you should be going harder. But your body's like, well, bitch, it doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter what you think you should be doing. You're burnt out. I'm going to sit your ass down. If you don't sit your ass down, I'm going to put my hind tail up your ass till you sit down. You know? But it is what it is. But I feel like I've been trying to have my mind in a rest mode without those excessive thoughts and like overthinking and things like that. So I'll see how this goes. I'll see how this next 6 months goes. I'm like excited at the same time. Like I'm not as nervous. I'm not as nervous as if I was to just jump off the limb and be jobless out here in these streets. The fact that I can like pay my bills still is okay. Like I do feel a little bad because like I'm slowing down on like my savings and things like that. But just watching how the world moves and like how it's going and things like that. Sometimes it's like, you know, what's the point? Like and it's crazy because I'm the type of person that thinks like you don't want to be that person that's like too living on the edge where you don't think about the future because you look up and you will be old. Because I feel like people think they'll be young forever and they don't really think past the youth. And sometimes you can look up and you be old, but then again, sometimes you can look up and you might be gone young. So it's just crazy to think like me personally, I'm the type that likes to save. I like delayed gratification and I want to get the hard part out the way, but still I just want to take that break. Even if it'll slow down on my savings and my financial goals and things like that. Like I said, maybe it might not slow down my financial goals. Maybe it may be a catalyst of financial goals. But yeah, looking forward to that. This past week was my brother's birthday. I didn't tell that man happy birthday. We really ain't been talking like that, which is crazy to me to think about. Like if I was to like ask my younger self, I would never really think to myself that I wouldn't really talk to one of my older brothers as much anymore since we were like really close when we were young. But it's like it is what it is. I felt petty, but it is what it is. Let's see. Oh yeah, last thing on the list. I've been thinking about like my instrument practice goals and like, you know, what I want to gain from like my practice. I'm pretty set on like what I hope to gain from like practicing guitar and the keys and things like that. Like my main goal is to have more agility on those instruments so that I can produce my own music. I can be more agile so that my songwriting can be better. I can write songs quicker and I can get to the ideas that I want to get to quicker because I have more of the musical acumen and I have more of a means to get that music out, and so I can accompany myself, right? So I don't need excessive productions or things like that. I can like accompany myself with the instruments that I have. So those are like my main goals of practice. So I wanted to keep that in mind so like when I'm going about my practice and things like that, I can know what I'm looking for and what I'm headed for, you know? Sometimes I might like be bogged down and like be doing a bunch of skills, but it's like, well, I'm not really, my main goal isn't to just be doing skills just to do skills. I'm doing these skills so I can be more agile, so I can write songs and enjoy playing the instrument, you know. But I think that's what it is. And like I was thinking about like what the genres. I was reading this thing about like setting practices and like niching down on like the genres and things like that. You know, I'm very anti-niche because I like to do what I want to do. But this time around, I do think I will try to like niche so I can like learn quicker, but also because I feel like I'm pretty set on like what I want to play, and I feel like if I learn if I hone in on this genre, it applies to many other genres, and that is jazz. So I think I'll focus on like jazz with like, and keeping in mind that I'll be utilizing it to probably like write like R&B and maybe a little folk and maybe a little, you know, a little indie, but I feel like it all relates, you know. So many things pull from jazz and the histories that the predecessors that jazz pulled from. Like, you know, when you look at a genre, it's not just one genre. You're looking at, it's like an ancestry, you know. We have our genealogy, the same thing for music. You know, music has its genealogy. So if I pay attention to jazz and like I focus on jazz, it's going to be helping me for other genres as well. So I think I want to like head in that direction. But yeah, those are my thoughts this week. I'm tired. I know I need to hurry up and wrap this up because I'm gonna be tired, and I don't want to be like fighting sleep trying to get this video journal entry done. But that's it for me. Mood wise, I'm still above middle ground. I feel like, oh, another thing, my screen time was like 3 hours this week, at least for my phone. I feel like I use my iPad and my computer, and I don't think it like calculates all the same, but like for my phone I think that was pretty good. I want to keep my screen time low. You know, I want to be creating more, consuming less, etc. But yeah, mood wise, I'm above middle ground. I'm not as like high up as I was last weekend, but I'm still above the middle ground. But that's it for me. See you next week. Bye.